beats the Knicks. Final count, 115 to 104. Great to have you with us here. Happy holidays, everyone, from our Delta MSG studios. Bill Pito along with Alan Hahn. Wally Szczerbiak is in Minnesota. Will join us here in a couple of moments. So the headline coming into the game, Alan, OG Anunoby out with a sore ankle. Jalen Brunson out with a sore ankle. Obviously, the Knicks missed both of those players, but especially when Mike Brown had to go to the bench.
Yep.
Because you got rotation players who normally come off the bench starting, and then guys playing who normally don't play at all, and that was a big factor in the game.
Yeah, only getting 15 bench points in this game was a part of it, certainly, and the Knicks fought valiantly, as we have seen them do all season long. Find a way is what they always talk about. They were able to find a way in Indiana last week when they were shorthanded. They almost found a way tonight. The door was open. Minnesota left the door open because they missed 31 threes. They missed 7 free throws. The Knicks out-rebounded them by 13. The Knicks got 18 offensive rebounds. They were doing all the things, the little things they needed to be able to stay in this game. 40-point performance from Karl-Anthony Towns. And then, of course, the performance of Tyler Kolek making his first NBA start, giving you a double-double, almost a triple-double. Missed it by 2 assists. But as you mentioned, it's some other areas of the game that there wasn't enough. And you always need that one player, that one you weren't expecting to have that big game. That didn't happen coming off the bench tonight for the Knicks. So they take the loss in what, again, when you look at the schedule and you see decisions made with the lineup, you understand that these are decisions that are not made for December. These are decisions made for April, May, and June.
You mentioned Tyler Kolek, first career start, 20 points, career high, 11 rebounds, career high, and also almost had the triple-double, 2 assists shy of 10 assists, which would have been a triple-double, had 8 assists. How about Julius Randle at fourth quarter? Had 8 points through 3, and as we talked about as we came on the air, he just dominated the fourth quarter with 17 points, and 15 came in a row.
What you were saying, Bill, is he was having a silent night, and then a ghost from Knicksmas Pass showed up in the fourth quarter. See what I'm doing there?
Yeah, I see.
And he just started to feel good. Now, what he was doing was going up against Karl-Anthony Towns, who had 4 fouls. And you know that Chris Finch said to him, if you've got him, go at him. Because we know Randle loves to play physical. He wants contact. And when he gets that contact, he's going to attack it. And he knows he's just as strong as even Karl-Anthony Towns. But it was also the fact that he was dealing with a player that you knew didn't want to pick up any more fouls. So you go at him and you take advantage of it. It allowed him to get into a rhythm. And yeah, he was dancing. He got to celebrate as Karl-Anthony Towns did last time around in Minnesota. This time it was Randle celebrating the win from the trade.
Interesting. Look at the last 3 numbers there. Knicks dominate boards, dominate points in the paint, and second chance points, and yet they still lose 115 to 104. Wally Szczerbiak now joins us. He helped call the game on the radio on ESPN New York. Wally, so you had Randle with the huge fourth quarter, 17 points in the fourth quarter, and Anthony Edwards had the huge third quarter with 16 points in the third quarter. Knicks simply couldn't stop either of these guys tonight.
No, those two are all-stars for a reason, all NBA players for a reason. Randle really woke up in that fourth quarter. 17 points, 3 stairs over to the bench, I thought.
Yep.
A lot of flexing here, too. But the Knicks made the Timberwolves work for this win. I commend the way the Knicks played. They earned a 2-point lead late there in that second half, and then a couple plays didn't really go their way, and you could really see how much you miss OG Anunoby and Jalen Brunson. This is an elite team out in the West. You know, the Knicks, I thought they fought valiantly, just came up a little bit short. Now they got to rest up and gear up for a big game on Christmas Day.
Yeah, it's a great point, Wally, because when you think about how much you missed OG Anunoby, you got to think about it at that end of the floor in the fourth quarter. They had no one that could take on Julius Randle, and especially with Karl-Anthony Towns in foul trouble, it was very smart for Randle to attack Cat every time he had him in a one-on-one. And as we saw in the package that we just showed you, he had him in a one-on-one a lot.
Now, when the Knicks played Minnesota here in New York, Wally, Anthony Edwards was just coming back off an injury, wasn't that effective. But we saw the full Anthony Edwards tonight. Boy, he is spectacular.
It just looks like the game is easy. He's so talented. It almost looks like he plays at 80-90%. Very cat-like the way he attacks. He picks his spots, and when he sees the opportunity, he just can really, he has no holes in his game. The most impressive shots that I thought he made, for me, was when he went on that little mini run in the third quarter. 7 of the field goals that he made were in the third quarter in the mid-range. You know, he can create a shot whenever he wants. Obviously, he's an effortless, high-percentage three-point shooter, and we love when he attacks the rim, the human highlight film, and finishes. But that mid-range game's very underrated. He hit some tough shots over a long-arm defender in Mikal Bridges, and those type of plays are why a lot of people want him to take that next step and be the face of the NBA. He's right there. His game has led to a lot of winning, and I think he's pairing very well with Julius Randle here in Minnesota. This franchise is in a really good place for the new ownership of Mark Lowry and A-Rod taking over the reins here. Timberwolves are going to be a contender for years to come behind those two.
It was a tough game for Mikal Bridges. That's a tough matchup for him. A very physical one he's got to keep an eye on because you're running through screens, but you're also dealing with how fast Edwards is. And, of course, now add the ability to make the three. And Bridges did all he could to stay with him. He had a quiet game offensively, but mainly because he had to try to contain somebody like Anthony Edwards. Not an easy task.
And, guys, we knew Karl Anthony Towns was going to bounce back after the season-low 2-point outing the other night against Miami. A, no Jalen Brunson. Towns knew he had to pick up the offensive slack, and B, back in Minnesota, you know he was keyed up, and he had his best game of the year scoring-wise, Wally, with 40 points.
What a performance. I mean, you see why Karl Anthony Towns is so highly regarded around the NBA as one of the elite players. Multiple-time All-Star, All-NBA. And he, you know, coming back home, there's a lot of emotions when you play on your own old home floor. And boy, did he show up big time. And he did it against a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, he was taking Rudy Gobert quite a bit in that first half. He was showing the full arsenal of putting the ball on the floor, finishing, getting to the free throw line, and then he sprinkled in those threes, which he's very capable of doing. And he just absolutely exploded. And I think one of the main reasons why the Knicks came up short is you really saw the deficiency in the Knicks without him on the floor. When he went to the bench, that's when the Timberwolves really extended their leads. That's when the Timberwolves really made their moves. And, you know, when he wasn't out there, then you combine that with no Jalen Brunson out there and also no OG Anunoby. I think that was a little bit too much to overcome for this undermanned Knicks roster tonight.
Yeah, I mean, again, you see they only get to 104 points. This is the Knicks team that has the second best offense in the entire league, and they average over 120 a game. So you can see they were missing offense, no question. And I thought also in the second half what Chris Finch did was make sure, just like Wally said, this is the one guy that can beat us. So there was always two bigs around him at all times. If he was driving to the basket, they were throwing bodies at him. They were making him feel physicality. This was a very physical game. And in that second half, you could see it wasn't as easy for Towns to score, even though he did give you 16 in the second half.
And, well, we got to talk about Tyler Kolek. First career start, career high 20 points, career high 11 rebounds. He has really taken advantage of the increase in playing time, largely due to the injury to Deuce McBride.
It's really fun to see a guy establish his career in the NBA. And Mike Brown has developed him very well. He's given him opportunities. And Mike Brown and coaching staffs will give you opportunities to show if you can produce. And he has produced at a very high level. I know he's going to go back and watch the film. He's going to say, I could have hit a few shots here, could have made a few shots there, you know, maybe minimize a few of the turnovers. But overall, the aggressiveness is what I love to see out of Tyler Kolek. When you get your opportunity, don't sit back. You know the song, you get one shot, take advantage of it by Eminem. Tyler Kolek's getting his one shot. He's taking advantage, and he's playing big-time basketball, and I'm really happy for him because when you put in that work, when nobody's watching, it gives you the confidence to produce when this place is a full packed building with fans at MSG, at any arena you're in. So this is really good to see a blossoming NBA career happening right before our eyes.
Yeah, no mom spaghetti on that jersey. He was calm, cool, collected throughout this game. The shooting for him, that's right, Wally. Like, he was short on a couple throughout the middle part of the game, and that's where he'll probably watch it back, mad at himself because those are makeables, and you want to feel like that wasn't defense, that was me. I was just short on some of those. He only had 2 turnovers, you know, with handling the basketball, and that was also an issue when he came out of the game. You talk about an issue. Who's handling the ball? And it was Josh Hart a lot of times. It was some Jordan Clarkson. And you also saw Minnesota make sure Kolek's out of the game, jump all over whoever's bringing the ball up the floor. And there were a few turnovers that were caused because of that. But good on him. Very close to a triple-double, and you can see the trust